No, quiero tiempo. Todavía no me quiero casar.
Do you love me?
No, no te amo.
Awesome! This is Mike, and after going 20 years without a relationship, he decided to change his dating app location to Colombia.
I met someone that made my dreams come true.
He met 24-year-old Ximena.
We have that connection, both emotionally, mentally.
After a year of talking, they wanted to start their life together, even though they don't speak the same language.
I speak English with a little bit of Spanish, and she speaks only Spanish.
So Mike and his trusty translator hop on a plane to meet Ximena in person for the first time. In Colombia, single mom Ximena and her 2 kids are ready to meet Mike.
Con el papá de Juan David solamente fue una noche y ya. Y el papá de Harold, Steven, se encuentra en la cárcel.
Both of her kids' fathers aren't involved, and Ximena wants someone who can support her. And that someone is Mike. He's bought her a couch, a table, a stove, a blender, a food processor, a coffee maker. He pays her rent, and he gives her money for food.
Mike no puede ser lindo de físico, pero de corazón. Lo es.
She's not attracted to his appearance, but she sure likes his wallet. Mike lands in Colombia, and the awkwardness of them not speaking the same language begins.
¿Por qué la borras?
Te amo.
¿Por qué la borras?
Te amo.
I'm always so fascinated by the couples that love each other but can't communicate. And it's not any easier to communicate when Mike meets Ximena's entire family.
Oh, lo siento. It's nice to meet everybody for the first time.
But he does hit it off with Ximena's kids when he gives them toys.
Bombero.
Overall, these two seem to be happy together at first, and even have a great first night together.
The best time that I've ever had with a woman. I had a great time over and over again.
Well, it was great for Mike.
Para mí normal. Nada del otro mundo, entonces.
At this point, Ximena doesn't seem to have strong feelings for Mike, but they are still somewhat in a honeymoon phase when they get to the hot springs. But it doesn't last long when Ximena tells Mike that she can't have any more kids.
O sea, yo me operé y no puedo tener más hijos. Nunca, jamás.
Ximena had her tubes tied, which can actually be reversed, but Mike is disappointed that she didn't tell him before and has always dreamed of having kids.
I've heard about people who had their tubes tied. They could just untie them and have kids again.
You don't just untie them. Either way, she doesn't seem open to reversing it and having more kids with him.
So if you knew that I wanted to have kids someday, and you not being able to have kids, how did you think this is going to work?
She says she wants them to raise her boys together, which Mike agrees with.
We can raise Harold and Juan together.
Even though having kids is important to Mike, he still thinks him and Ximena are meant to be together. This is the first bump in the road, but there are about to be many more.
Gino and Jasmine want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. If you don't, they will appear in your room tonight and give you creepy baby talk.
Who's my little baby? Who's my little gordito?
Me.
Mike and Ximena go on a romantic trip for some alone time, but the more time they spend together, the less romantic it gets.
Oh, no.
Ximena is horrified by Mike farting in front of her. I think more horrified than Mike is about her past relationships.
Yo conviví con un sicario.
Sicario, sí.
So his gas is apparently scarier than a hitman.
Pero entonces me mandó un audio donde me decía, te doy 3 días para que disfrutes porque te voy a matar.
Oh, but it's fine. She hasn't heard from him in 2 years. Yeah, no big deal. It's fine. But Mike farting? No, that's not fine.
Ay, super cochino.
Ximena confronts Mike and we can see her attitude toward him starting to change.
También cuando te tiras tus pedos, no lo hagas adelante de mí. Me da asco, eso me desenamora.
But Mike promises that he will change and work on these things.
It's not as bad as like going to jail or running away from kids or killing people for money.
And after he tries to leave his snotty tissues in an Uber, he tells her about why he has trouble with his habits.
I wanted to tell you about my medical condition, ADHD, which affects my concentration, makes me distracted.
She does understand, and it does seem at this point like she cares about him. Even though this trip hasn't gone as well as he hoped, Mike gets Ximena's dad and her kids' approval to propose to her.
Mi plan siempre fue casarme con Mike, pero después de conocerlo en persona, tengo muchas dudas.
Her parents are there to remind her that if things don't work out, she will have to get a job, and her kids' futures will be better if she marries Mike. No pressure, right? Mike takes Ximena and her family out to dinner.
Everybody, I just want to get your attention.
And pops the question with a cake.
Sí, sí quiero casarme contigo.
They plan to get married in Colombia in a few months and start the visa process. And Ximena even looks sad when Mike heads back to New York. But things take a turn when Mike gets back to the US.
I left Colombia about 2 months ago. Even though I'm trying to move things forward with Ximena, I feel like things have shifted a little bit.
Mike decides he needs to go back to Colombia again and work on things with her. He hopes he will feel the love when he lands, but he doesn't.
Mucho de que Mike es una persona muy pegajosa, o sea, me gusta mi espacio.
And he tracked poop into her apartment.
¿Sí?
Por debajo, sí, huele a popó. Mira.
Ximena is annoyed with Mike because he won't pay for her surgery.
Yo quiero un aumento de senos y remarcación de abdomen. Puedo hacer como trabajar como modelo.
So instead, she borrowed money from a loan shark. What?
Y tenía la cirugía aproximada para unos días, pero no pude porque, o sea, Mike vino.
So she's annoyed that Mike is even there, and Mike didn't pick up on the signs. Mike and Ximena went out last night. Mike went home around midnight, but Ximena stayed out.
What time did you get home last night?
Llegué a las 9 de la mañana.
9 a.m., and she was just drinking. Sure.
Bueno, no sé cómo será la cultura en Estados Unidos, pero en Colombia, o sea, es normal.
Can anyone from Colombia confirm this? Is this really true?
She doesn't have me as a priority anymore.
Why does Mike look tough all of a sudden? Is this what you wanted, Ximena? Prison Mike? Things don't get any better when Mike and Ximena go wedding dress shopping.
Todavía me molesta de que me haya estado interrogando de por qué me haya quedado hasta tarde afuera anoche.
Wait, this is the same day that she got home at 9 a.m.? She's probably still hungover.
Es una princesa.
Ximena says something is stopping her from enjoying this as much as she should, and that something is Mike.
Porque si vas a pagar el vestido para mi operación, ¿tú no me quieres dar el dinero?
Mike says she doesn't need the surgery.
Siempre quise ser modelo, entonces tal vez esto me genere para poder conseguir trabajo.
Does anyone else think that she planned to get the surgery and then dump Mike? I keep thinking that, but then wonder why she had to meet her whole family, including her kids.
Primero mi cirugía, después vestido de novia. ¿Está bien?
So she wants the $5,000 now, and then we'll get a dress and marry Mike after.
She should be wanting to use that money for our future together, and that really hurts.
Well, Mike, it's not looking good for you.
Vestido no se está comprando.
And he ends the conversation by saying he doesn't want to talk about surgery anymore. When they get back to the apartment, Ximena wants Mike to sleep somewhere else.
Tú dormirás en la habitación de allá.
Are we going to be intimate at all on this trip, or no?
No quiero.
I think it's becoming obvious that she is not into him anymore.
Tú eres raro. Todavía no me quiero casar.
Is this some sort of strategy to get him to pay for her surgery? Or is she really just done with him?
Pues a esa manera me estás perdiendo, la verdad que sí.
He says he will change, but I don't think he's getting it.
Do you love me?
No, no te amo.
Well, that took a turn. What the hell happened? Was she just using him the whole time for money and now doesn't want him anymore? Why did she introduce him to her family and her kids? He better get the hint and not marry her. Get out of there, Mike. We will have to wait until next week to see what happens next. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!